Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between rolling hills, there lived a young man named Arin. Arin was known for his sharp mind and quick wit, but he had one great weakness. His emotions ruled him. When he was happy, the whole village knew, for he would sing and dance through the streets. But when he was angry or sad, his outbursts were just as loud. Arin believed that feeling deeply was a sign of strength, but life was about to teach him otherwise. One day a great contest was announced in the kingdom. The king sought the wisest advisor, and whoever proved themselves worthy would be given a place at his side. The contest was simple. Each candidate would face a series of challenges, and the one who remained calm, wise, and in control would win. Arin, confident in his intelligence, decided to enter. He believed his cleverness would carry him through. The first challenge was a test of patience. The candidates were given a single seed and told to grow a tree. Arin planted his seed and watered it daily, but after a week nothing had sprouted. He grew frustrated. "Why is this taking so long?" he muttered. Another candidate, an old farmer named Elias, simply smiled and tended to his seed without complaint. Days passed, and still Arin's seed did not grow. His anger grew with each passing hour. Finally, in a fit of frustration, he dug up his seed to see why it hadn't sprouted, only to find it had just begun to take root. By disturbing it, he had ruined his chances. Elias, on the other hand, remained patient. His tree grew strong, and he passed the first test. Arin was shocked. How could he have failed so easily? He had always believed intelligence was enough, but now he saw that patience, emotional control, was just as important. Determined to learn, he approached Elias and asked for his secret. The old man smiled and said, "A tree does not grow faster because you shout at it. Emotions are like the wind. They can either help you sail or capsize your boat. The key is not to let them control you." The second challenge was a test of composure. The candidates were brought before the king's court and insulted publicly. The one who remained calm would pass. Arin, still stung by his first failure, vowed to stay silent. But when the courtiers mocked his intelligence, his face grew hot, and his fists clenched. He couldn't bear the humiliation. Just as he was about to shout back, he caught Elias's eye. The old man stood perfectly still, his face serene, as if the insults were nothing more than leaves rustling in the wind. Arin took a deep breath and forced himself to stay quiet. It was the hardest thing he had ever done, but he passed the test. Now only a few candidates remained, and the final challenge was the hardest of all. They were taken to a room where a small child cried uncontrollably. The child had lost a precious toy and refused to be comforted. The task was simple: calm the child. Arin knelt beside the boy and tried to reason with him. "It's just a toy," he said. "You can get another." But the child only cried harder. Elias, however, sat quietly beside the boy and simply listened. He didn't offer advice or tell him to stop crying. He just waited until the child's sobs slowed. Then, in a soft voice, he said, "It's hard to lose something you love, isn't it?" The child sniffed and nodded. Elias continued, "Sometimes when we're sad, it helps to remember the good times we had with what we lost." Slowly, the child stopped crying. He hadn't gotten his toy back, but he felt understood. Arin watched in awe. Elias hadn't used logic or force. He had used empathy and calmness. And in that moment, Arin realized the truth. Emotional control wasn't about suppressing feelings. It was about understanding them, mastering them, and using them wisely. When the king announced Elias as the winner, Arin was not disappointed. He had learned something far more valuable than a title. From that day forward, he practiced emotional control. He still felt joy, anger, and sadness, but he no longer let them rule him. Over time, he became known not just for his intelligence, but for his wisdom and calmness. And in the end, that made him truly successful. The lesson was clear. Intelligence, talent, and hard work are important, but without emotional control, They are like a ship without a rudder. You may have the strength to sail, but without direction, you will be lost. Emotional control is the key to success because it allows you to think clearly, act wisely, and navigate life storms without being overturned. Whether in patience, composure, or empathy, mastering your emotions means mastering your destiny. And that is a lesson worth remembering.